Good morning, everybody on Facebook. And how are you? It's Dominic Cortez with another edition of Hammer Time Radio coming your way. Folks from TRS are in studio today talking about electrical consumption and what you need to know about that. And, of course, we'll take any questions you have about electrical usage, appliances, lighting this Saturday morning here on Hammer Time Radio. Thanks for being there. We're about to begin.
Currently in Buffalo, partly sunny and 67 degrees.
There, you got to
The
come a little
WBEN
closer.
Multi-Use Restoration Newsroom is the news feed that never stops. Stay in the know and follow our updated X feed for the latest by following at WBEN.
Here we go. Well, good morning, Buffalo. Yes, it's Dominic Cortez. And of course, Hammer Time Radio starts right here, right now.
Leaking roof? Need new windows? Looking to remodel your kitchen or bath? You've come to the right place and the right time. Broadcasting on News Radio 930 WBEN since 1989, this is Hammer Time Radio. Now, your host, your man for home improvements, Dominic Cortez.
Good morning.
By Lakeshore Savings Bank, putting people first since 1891.
Good morning, homeowners, and welcome once again to Hammer Time Radio here on WBEN. Dominic Cortez with you. Special show for you today as we talk about electrical consumption, and we'll learn more about that with my friends from TRS. In the meantime, I want to thank everybody for coming out last week to see us at our open house, the kickoff of our 75th anniversary. Special thanks to, of course, David Bellavia, our chef Jerry Clemente, and of course all the Cortez staff that were there to guide our tours around our building. And I want to remind you that the next class coming up is the Come Home to Cortez cooking class. Next one coming up is May 12th. Sorry, that's past. May 19th is the next class coming up. That is Sicilian Sunday. That is the next class, Sicilian Sunday. And then June 2nd, we're traveling to Catania. And June 16th, Simple Summer, Estate Semplice. These are the next three classes coming up. Check them all out at Cortez.net. Drop-down menu, Come Home to Cortez Cooking School. And you'll see all the choices right through the summer. We have our pizza classes are coming up as well. There are two classes in a row, and those will be held outdoors. So we're excited about that. Check them out at Cortez.net. In studio with me is Barry Berghold and Jeff Winarski from TRS Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of questions about electrical consumption over the last several weeks, so we thought we'd do a show on it. Electrical consumption varies, of course, due to a multitude of factors, primarily related to, well, obviously the weather, the makeup of your house, the appliances that you use and how you use them, and even the time of day. Seasonal changes affect electrical consumption, and heating and cooling needs fluctuating. Additionally, of course, the efficiency and usage patterns of appliances, along with a number of people in the household, all contribute to energy demand. But there's more to the story, is there not, Barry and Jeff?
Yes, there is.
There always is.
Yes. But let's get into it. The big reason we're seeing a jump in electrical consumption is
New meters.
the
Smart meters. Yeah, they're actually accurate now, so they're reading what you're actually using now versus the older meters with the dials inside of them that sometimes didn't work 100%. And so now with the digital meters, you're seeing what you're actually using.
Wow. So you're actually saying then that a spinning dial meter could actually not have been properly recording consumption.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it could not have been spinning as fast as it was supposed to be when you were using the electric. It could have been stopping at some points. So yeah, 100%. It could be not working.
All right. So with that said, I think it's safe to say then that smart meters are here to stay. So we need to educate our listeners on how to be more energy efficient in their homes.
Yes.
And starting with what? Lighting?
Lighting is the easiest. The bulbs make nowadays, they last longer. You can actually drop one and it not break because there's no filament inside, so the bulb would still work as opposed to old school.
So LED lighting is worth it.
Yes.
Okay. So that's easy, right? We can change light bulbs.
Yep.
In fact, they just rewired all the lights in the studio here, and we now have LED daylight style lighting from overhead here. And you know, the thing about LED, I guess it's maybe a benefit or a detriment, is the color of the light is different.
There's a lot of the bulbs that they make nowadays too. You have choices of some people like the really bright white light,
Like a daylight.
right? And the other ones prefer the dimmerish yellow,
Right.
Yeah, like the cool white.
cool white.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like the example that comes to mind, of course, is with Christmas lighting. If you use LED Christmas lights, they don't mix with regular style light bulbs.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you'll
the
see
old-
the difference.
Yeah, the old incandescent, you can definitely tell the difference.
Okay, so lighting, that's an easy one. How about something that's not as obvious? How about the age of your appliances?
Well, that's a big thing. I mean, you get into the older stoves. Some people have electric hot water tanks, electric dryers. Yeah, you know, they're not going to be as efficient as the newer models that are out there. So you're going to use more electricity with them, number one. And number two, you know, if you have an older dryer that isn't, say, working up to snuff, you're going to run it a lot longer than you would a new one to achieve the same results.
Good point.
So therefore, you're going to use a lot more electricity. You know, the other thing is, a lot of people got to keep in mind, a lot of stuff is going to battery operated, you know, so as simple as it sounds, you know, like your weed whackers, your lawn mowers, you know, stuff like that, especially with the summertime. Now, instead of having a gas engine that's there, now you're charging batteries all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, now, you know, you're starting to run chargers. So, I mean, and it's little to think about, but when you put it all together, it all adds up to one big bill.
Okay, so appliances, that's another one. I think that's easy picking. How about the efficiency of your air conditioning system?
Always. I mean, you know, getting the maintenance on your air conditioner is huge. We find dirty condenser coils on these things. I mean, even a system that's 20 years old, running with a dirty condenser coil, you're using a lot more electric than you should be because it's working harder to get the job done.
You don't really think of these two together in the same sentence, but the AC condenser and its consumption of electricity relates to the amount of insulation that you have in your attic and how more work the unit has to do in order to bring the house to temperature. So adding insulation might be a simple way to reduce your electrical consumption.
Yeah, insulation, you know, in your walls, in your attic, improving doors and windows, you know, ventilating your attic. You know, that's a big thing.
Right.
You keep all that heat in the attic. You know, now your air conditioning's working because that heat is working its way into your house.
There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to it.
Number of people in the house.
Correct. You know, you got to pay attention to that. You know, I'm personally in my own house. I mean, it's been me and my wife. My kids are both away at college. My daughter just came home for the summer. So, you know, now we're going to start seeing lights on all the time, a TV on, radio on. You know, there's going to be somebody else in the house. So,
You
yeah.
never think about that when you're actually using it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know, everything that we use has a price tag associated to consumption.
Yeah.
Demand times, peak demand and weekend versus weekday. Talk about that.
Well, they say to to do your laundry and stuff like that at night later. So because of it's a cheaper rate is basically all it is they offer cheaper rates at the weird times of night.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you can save money that way. You know, I'm a single guy. I do my laundry at 10 o'clock at night or, you know, whatever. You don't have to do it when everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I got a friend of mine that, you know, he's got a Tesla and he's got to charge it, and he'll charge his, you know, at 12 o'clock at night.
You're not talking about Schmiegel, are you?
No, well, that's besides the point. But no, you know, I got another friend that, believe it or not, I do have a couple.
You don't know conservative people that have a Tesla, but he's one of them.
Oh, yes, he is. He's got a couple of them. Believe it or not, I'm sure he'll be listening and calling in now because we're picking on him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a good point, time of day. But then also the rate per kilowatt. And I ran into this with NYSEG. They were reselling to a company that the rate was double what the NYSEG rate was. Stupid me. My wife said, why is the electric bill so high? And of course, this big discussion about electric bill being high has been going on for a while.
Right.
But then, I told you about the fan that you wired for us. That was a good move to get the heat out of the attic. But it was $100 a month to run that thing.
Yeah, it will. I mean, and you get into some of these newer homes now, like a lot of the new builds that we do, because of the code change and the air exchanges that are required in the house, there's a fan on your furnace that's running 24/7. So yes, you are paying for it, but in turn you're saving because your AC may not run as much, things like that. So, it's kind of an exchange.
But you need to pay attention to the rate per kilowatt, because as I was saying, they were reselling and I was paying 14 cents per kilowatt when the NYSEG rate is 7.
Yeah.
Like, hello, like, why? I never noticed it. This was going on for years, apparently.
Yeah.
And now, of course, everyone's looking at their electric bill more carefully. So if you see a reseller on your electric bill, you may want to check the rate.
That happens. You get the people that walk the neighborhoods and go door to door and we can save you money on your utilities. Yeah, maybe initially they do, but at some point you're gonna pay for it.
There you go. 803-0930. That's the number to call in the 716 at 1-800-616-WBEN. You can call us from outside the immediate calling area. And you can also text us on the Volkswagen of Orchard Park text board, open and operating. Same as our call-in number, 803-0930. Any way you'd like to participate in the program, we'd love to have you. You can also watch the show on Facebook Live, where we are broadcasting it there. And by the way, Jerry always tells me, you keep forgetting to tell people that the show is rebroadcast, the first hour at least, at 6 p.m. here on WBEN. So if you hear anything you like and you have a friend who perhaps isn't listening and might learn from something that we're talking about, well, you can you hear the rebroadcast, which is at 6 p.m. on Saturdays. Also, I need to tell you that the last 2 days of the show house are today and tomorrow. Yeah, it closes already. The 3 weeks goes quick. So if you haven't been to the show house, folks, you need to make a date to get there this weekend before the end of tomorrow. And that's, of course, at 280 Pine Ridge Road, the George Urban Mansion, the Junior League of Buffalo's decorator show house. 803-0930, that's the number to call. This is Dominic Cortez. This is Hammer Time Radio. And before you pick up the hammer, before you pick up the drill, pick up the phone and give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. Now, before we talk to you, though, we're going to travel to Dunkirk and say good morning to Bet Paulus, the manager of the Dunkirk branch of Lakeshore Savings Bank. Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, Dominic.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. It seems a lot like there have been some changes, on the local banking scene with local banks going away. Can you talk about that?
That's right. The banking market is always changing, but we've been operating right here in Western New York since 1891. If you're looking for a bank that has a long-standing presence and reputation in the community, why wouldn't you take a look at Lakeshore Savings Bank?
Of course, and the benefits of that are multifaceted, including the fact that the service is personalized, which I love, and you're dealing with a locally operated bank. Tell us some other benefits, Betty.
Well, we're local, that understands the unique needs of Western New York. Lakeshore Savings Bank has been serving this region for 134 years. We understand the diverse needs of our customers better than anybody in the market. Mm-hmm. Second, we have the flexibility and expertise to develop quick, customer-centric solutions, and all of our lending decisions are made right here in Western New York, which is unique as well. Mm-hmm. Third, Lakeshore Savings Bank is committed to the economic health of the region by keeping deposits and loans right here in Western New York. The people that work at Lakeshore Savings Bank are our friends and neighbors. We shop in local stores and help drive the local community.
See, it means so much to hear that. It sounds like a good time, folks, to consider switching to Lakeshore Savings Bank. I know that from our personal experience. Lakeshore offers great personalized customer service. The bank's products and services are customized to fit our needs at Cortez Construction.
That's right. So if your bank has changed and you want to do business with a local institution that's been around since 1891, check out Lakeshore Savings Bank. You'll be glad you did.
Betty, thank you, dear, for calling in. People, get a hold of Betty today if you're down in the Dunkirk area. The phone number there, Betty?
716-366-4070, and I'm here till noon.
There you go. Betty from the Dunkirk branch of Lakeshore Savings Bank since 1891. Lakeshore Savings Bank, putting people first.
Come and meet me down by the shore, Lakeshore.
Well, you've come to the right place. Our sponsors have proudly earned the Hammer Time seal of approval by operating with honesty and integrity. So remember, to buy right the first time, buy from a Hammer Time partner. Why is the Gorilla Floor the best resinous floor on the market? Simple. We're the only company that's bold enough to guarantee protection against the number one cause of garage floor failure, moisture. Every Gorilla Floor includes a vapor barrier at no extra cost. No shortcuts when it comes to long-term protection. In Western New York, with our high water table, that barrier is critical. Protect your garage with a Gorilla Floor and say goodbye to peeling and failure. Ask for the Hammer Time discount. Take 10% off your floor, 400 square feet or more, just in time for spring.
Susan Rose here. Attention homeowners and contractors. Need kitchen or bath cabinets, but fast? Kitchen and Bath Unlimited delivers Wolf cabinets in under a week. Say farewell to your search for quality, discounted, and hassle-free cabinetry. Discover Wolf's stunning Maplewood cabinetry collection tailored to your style and budget. Choose from a variety of paints and finishes. Visit Kitchen and Bath Unlimited, located on Union, north of Walden. Kitchen and Bath Unlimited. Online at kitchenandbathunlimited.net.
Looking for the perfect window treatments? At Budget Blinds of Williamsville, we're locally owned and bring the showroom to you with a free in-home consultation. From shades and blinds to drapery.
Barry, I want to get into
a wide range of options.
the cost of a 400 amp.
5-year, no questions asked warranty.
The cost difference from a 200 amp to a 400 amp.
8050 Worley Drive or call today. With over
Service, you mean?
5-star Google reviews, we pride ourselves on exceptional service. Budget Blinds of Williamsville. Quality, service, and value in every window.
What are you putting a 400 amp service in?
That's what they're going to do in the newer homes.
Really?
Yeah, with some of the electric neighborhoods we've been looking at, like Rochester and that.
Buffalo, all day long. News Radio 930 WBEN.
.23 is Hammer Time. Good morning. It's Dominic Cortez. And how are you? 803-0930. That's the number to call. Pick up the phone right now if you have a question about electricity and if you have an electrical issue around your house. My guests from TRS, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical, Jeff Winarski and Barry Burkhold, experts in electricity. And if you'd like to participate in the program, we'd love to have you. A texter misunderstood us here. They're saying, as a licensed New York State electrician, we're giving incorrect information. RF radio frequency meters are accurate. We didn't say they're not. We're saying the old style meters were inaccurate in that they were perhaps not reading correctly.
Correct. The potential is there. That's all we're saying. We're not saying they are, we're not saying there's a problem with them. All we're saying is the potential was there for it.
Okay. So we started the show by talking about consumption and how there's been, a factor of increased consumption, but you're reporting to us that largely that is from the more accurate reading that the smart meters are conducting themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the calls, 803-0930 to Wheatfield. And Mike, good morning. You're on WBEN.
Good morning. I have a question about the new bill. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It was introduced in the New York Assembly January 15, 2025. Now, this goes into effect if passed January 1st, 2027. It would ban the sale, not the use of gasoline-powered leaf blowers and lawnmowers. The effect of January 1st, 2027. Now, does the lawnmowers include the lawn tractors, and how likely is this bill to pass?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I have heard about it. I don't know how likely it is to pass, but my understanding is yes, it's going to be any gas-powered engine. So basically, like you said, your leaf blowers, your weed whackers, and your lawnmower, whether it's a tractor or a actual push mower, if I am correct.
May I give out the state website?
Sure.
It's easy. The easiest way is NY Bill, BILL, 2025 A2114. That's NY BILL 2025 A2114.
Okay.
Now, with that date, January 1st, 2017, they must be sure they got the votes that they're going to get this passed.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's hard to know where that sits as far as on the temperature scale. And with, the advent of electrification really at our doorstep, January 1 of 26, single-family homes have to be 100% electric. I wonder if that might be, what's front and center in everyone's thinking and not thinking about small engines.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the back burner that, not a lot of people are aware of, if it passes, it's going to change a lot of ways that we do things.
You mentioned, though, Jeffrey, that, even though we may get away from the pollution of a small engine, you do have to charge batteries in lieu of running a gas engine.
Correct, and then you got to get rid of these batteries. I mean, they're lithium ion, so
Right.
Now you're disposing of batteries,
which we never hear anything about.
No, and they have their own issues. So you're getting rid of one, and we're just bringing another problem on.
So back to consumption for a minute. Again, 8030930 if you have a question, anything around the house that needs my attention, or if you'd like to speak to electrician Barry Burkhold or Jeff Winarski, of course, from TRS. They're here for you today until 11 o'clock. Open phones at 11, anything around the house from 11 till noon. In the meantime, we're talking about electricity. Back to the consumption discussion. When we talk about peak demand, Barry alluded to that there are cheaper times of day. How do you know, how do you find out what is a cheaper time of day?
I think it actually shows it on your bill if you look, or a lot of people know you can download the website for NYSEG and it'll actually show you peak times.
But it's safe to say that middle of the night, and what about weekends compared to weekdays?
That I'm not sure of. I've never really paid attention.
It's been reported that commercial offices tend to use electricity on weekends, leading to lower overall consumption during those days, which obviously makes sense.
Right.
And I guess, does it tie in? Does the peak demand time of day then yield a higher rate for that peak demand? So there's they go hand in hand. It's a double-edged sword.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's switch gears just for a minute. Again, we can go back to efficiency and consumption, folks. Any question you have regarding that, don't hesitate to give us a call this Saturday morning here at 8030930, or you can write your question in to our text board, 8030930, same as our call-in number. A texter is writing, by the way, I have no ground wire coming in from outside. What is the proper way to protect my service?
Ground wire coming in.
Yeah, probably no ground rod, no grounding rod.
Right, so a surge protector would work in that case, or have a ground rod installed.
A grounding rod would protect you against an electrical storm, correct?
Right, yes.
But we need to talk about the importance of surge protectors as well, in that we've mentioned this before on the show, that if we have more reliance on the grid, the chance of surges become a higher reality.
Surges, brownouts, I mean, all that stuff. Yeah, we're going to start seeing a lot more and more of that as people become more reliable on the grid.
And what is involved with installing a surge protector?
So very simple. It's the mechanism just installs in your panel downstairs, and it gets installed on two breakers. There's different types, but it's a very simple fix.
And what is it exactly doing?
It's redirecting if surge comes through, it's redirecting the power
Okay.
back through your grounding system.
803-0930 coming up to the bottom of the hour. Therefore, time for the top of the news. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion about electrical consumption and anything else that relates to that you have a question about here on this Saturday morning's edition of Hammer Time Radio.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubosky. People across Kentucky, Missouri, and Virginia are picking up the pieces this morning after a bout of severe weather, including more than 24 tornadoes tore through the area. 23 people are confirmed dead on account of the storms. 7 fugitives are still at large after a prison break in Louisiana yesterday. Security cameras captured the inmates scaling a wall in the early morning hours, but authorities didn't realize they were gone until hours later. The Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams.
So we'll get into a little discussion about 400 amp services. Have you put any in yet?
No, we haven't. Actually, a couple of the builders have steered away from it. We got one subdivision actually in Rochester going in right now where they decided to go to
this afternoon between New Jersey Transit and the Rail Engineers Union after workers went on strike demanding bigger wage
Aren't they banning that too?
That's what they're talking about, but right now we can do it, so that's what they're doing because otherwise, the cost to put the heat pumps, the electric heat pumps and stuff like that in, and you're going to lose efficiency as it gets colder out.
Here's what's happening. Catholic Health
So,
System has agreed to
we
pay
got
out
one that one neighbor we're working on right now. It's going to be all propane furnaces in the house.
It's alleged
I'll be
that
damned.
TRS knowingly submitted or caused to be submitted.
These houses that we looked at vary these, putting the heat pumps in and then having to a lot for the EV car chargers and everything else. These houses are going to be 400 amp. It'll be 400 amp services.
So there's a big cost difference.
Huge cost difference.
Is it double?
I would say
Easily, yes.
at least double. I mean, the wiring that you're going to use is going to be different. You got to update, upgrade all the wiring. I mean, it's new panels, everything else. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy. Not to mention, I personally don't want a 400 amp service in my house.
Right.
Because of the cost or
The liability of it. God, if something happens, it's 400 amps. You don't see right now. The only time you see that is on commercial buildings. Now you're going to have that in residential neighborhoods. Look at the accidents that we have going on right now.
A couple of showers in the morning,
Now you're gonna have
otherwise
400
breezy
amps
and
there?
cooler with low clouds.
any theories on how that house blew up?
10 p.m. Monday, low clouds
It's
followed by
gonna go
some
back to
sun.
natural gas.
High 58.
You think so?
Yeah, there's no
Currently
way.
in Buffalo,
And I'm not
No
saying
leak.
cloudy and
I'm not
62
saying National Fuel
degrees.
had a leak, did something wrong, whatever the case may be,
So,
but to
is
do
newsfeed
that
stops.
amount of
Stay in the
damage,
know and follow our updated
that
X feed
100%
for the
was
latest by
natural
following
gas.
at
There's
WBEN.
no way that house could disintegrate the way it did.
Yeah.
segment or interview, download the Odyssey app. That's
What a shame.
Yeah, it is.
AUDACY. Favorite WBEN and listen live.
I mean, they had that one in Lackawanna, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
This is Hammer Time Radio. Brought to you by Lakeshore Savings Bank, putting people first since 1891.
Well, it is allergy season and spring cleaning time. Most know about washing windows, cleaning carpets, the things that you can see. However, don't forget to clean the most neglected, unsanitary, and unhealthy part of your home. It is your heating and air conditioning ductwork system. You've heard us talk about this for 30 years, if you can believe that. Now the life-changing duct cleaning service that Indoor Professionals provides. Let's look at a very recent 5-star Google review that's hot off the presses from Chris. Chris writes, I have had a problem breathing and coughing, tried many different kinds of medicines. I contacted IAP and they were very helpful and had so much information. They had a great price and how professional the men were that came out and did the cleaning. I was amazed. My cough, get ready for this, is almost gone away and can breathe so much better. Can't believe what came out of my ducts. I definitely recommend this company. Peter Gordon from Indoor Professionals joins me on the live line. Good morning, Mr. Gordon.
Good morning, Dominic. Yeah, hearing our customers throughout the years with the same or similar story as Chris told that you just read is really what gets us up in the morning. I would say that at least 40% of our customers have some respiratory issue from minor sinus to full-blown allergies and asthma. And about 95% of those let us know how much healthier they are, and some have stopped taking their allergy medication or using their inhalers for asthma. But besides the most thorough duct cleaning on the planet, we have the amazing medical-grade air purifiers that are 40 times more efficient than HEPA filtered units.
Just change the filters on the medical grade air purifier, Peter. It's humming like a charm. Little white noise for sleeping, cleaning the air as we sleep. And of course, there's the awesome April Air high capacity DHU, 5 times more powerful than the cheap throwaway fire starters. And the last one you'll need, Peter, the extra special Hammer Time discounts for the 17th of May.
All right. So first of all, you can save 15% off the all-inclusive duct cleaning. And then a relatively new offer. We love that our products are American-made. So $400 off the April Air high-capacity DHU that you just mentioned, and $400 off the portable medical-grade air purifier. So call me today for an estimate on duct cleaning or info on those products. It'll only take 5 minutes out of your busy schedule.
Okay, here's the number for you to call right to Peter's desk, 716-683-3000, extension 303, brings you right to Peter. That's 716-683-3000, extension 303. Peter will educate you on how to improve your indoor air quality like no one else. Indoor Air Professionals. Got IAP? Get it today.
Breathe easier. Breathe easier. With Indoor Air Professionals. For every breath you take.
Hi, it's Dominic Cortez. Whenever someone asks me, who do you call for roof repair or replacement, I say call Ava Roofing and Siding. They install.
It says, I had a 200 amp service installed. Why did they require 2 ground rods for the installation?
You get superior service, including expert foreman.
Different towns have different rules. Basically, a lot of them you just get away with 1 ground rod. Some towns want 2, just for better impedance, just for better,
protection.
Call Ava Roofing.
Politicians shouldn't be pushing electric-only appliances or tractors and cars on us. I feel like it's a monarchy. Also, I get rich scheme for stockholders. What is something I can do to be efficient with a multi-vent AC unit? It's a Mitsubishi model.
It's got to be a ductless split they're talking about. Get the cleanup done on it, do a health safety check on it, make sure it is running efficiently, and then set it at 1 temp and leave it.
Okay.
Hi, it's Dominic Cortez. Looking for energy-efficient windows that stand up to Western New York weather? Lenco Supplies has you covered. 400 series windows from Anderson are so energy efficient, they help keep your house cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Plus, free delivery on orders over $500. For more info on 400 series windows from Anderson, visit lenco.supply.
I don't think people understand, Barry, what an amp is. Like when you compute how much amperage you need, you're basically adding up all of the amperage load that's going to be handled by that panel, correct?
Yeah, you're taking a percentage. Like it goes by square footage of a house, or they figure you're using so much wattage for the everyday use of your TVs or phone, stuff like that.
But everything you run has a wattage, right? It has an amperage requirement.
Yes, correct.
Add that all up, and that's what you're using. Your amp is basically your electric usage. What you're drawing.
News Radio
There's a meter that you can just hang right on the wire that tells you. But even though you have a 15 amp breaker, you might only be drawing 3 amps on that breaker.
1040 is Hammer Time. It's Dominic Cortez. It's Hammer Time Radio. It's WBEN. Thanks for being there. Pick up the phone and give us a call or text us, 803-0930. My guest in studio from TRS Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical, Jeff Winarski and Barry Burkhold. And we've started the show talking about consumption and how you need to be aware of the fact that smart meters are a little more sharper in reading and therefore more accurate. And this is causing a spike in consumption. And we talked about ways that you could be more energy conscious on your electrical consumption. And we've evolved the conversation into what's coming, which is electrification as of January 1 of new homes. And you say, Jeffrey, that some builders are found a way around putting in 400 amp services.
Yeah, I mean, we're still trying to put in as much natural gas appliances as possible, right up until the code comes in. Some of the builders are starting to, we got a neighborhood that's going to be propane, so they're going to have propane in the house for the furnace instead of running electric furnace or heat pumps. So, until the push actually comes where we can't do it, we're trying everything we can to get away from it.
Well, I understood that January 1, there's no gas or propane allowed.
Correct.
On January 1.
Correct. So, I mean, at that point, they're going to have to go to electric. And, I mean, if people are upset about electric bills right now, once they get that electric furnace in there or they have that heat pump in there, they're really not going to like their electric bills.
I guess it's important for us to understand exactly what drives the need for a 400 amp service. When we add up all the amperages of all the appliances that we're using to run our house, this is how you yield the size of service you need.
Yes.
Correct. Yep. And, when we're getting into right now with the newer homes that we're doing where they are going to be electric, we're looking at heat pumps, and then you're going to have an electric furnace as a backup heat or supplemental heat when the temperature gets too cold outside. Some of these units, these electric heaters, are actually going to require, we're looking at one right now, it's 100 amps just for the electric heater.
So that's like a whole service unto itself.
Correct. So now you put that in there, the building codes or the electrical codes now are requiring EV chargers. Houses have to be ready for the car chargers, things like that. So when you start adding that all in, that's going to increase that size of that service.
I won't hold you to this, but take a guess as to what you think a 100% electric 400 amp service house will be on electric bill.
Oh, on an electric bill, I couldn't even guess. I mean, I'm looking at, my own house, and I mean, I think, and I don't pay the bills, my wife does, but I think we pay, $100 a month right now for our electric.
That's all?
That's all. And, we have gas appliances and everything else. Now you switch over to being all electric, I got to see that bill at least doubling, if not tripling.
Oh my God, yeah. I would say minimally.
I would say at least $400, probably $500.
Yeah. My bill's $350.
Yeah. Well,
and you've been to my house.
Yeah, you got a bigger house than I do.
But there's only two of us.
Well, there's only two of us in my house too, so.
So you talked about the downside. Well, there's a lot of downsides, but the number one concern you have about a 400 amp service is safety.
Correct. Yeah.
Tell us why.
That's my biggest thing. I mean, right now, typically, you only see 400 amp services on commercial buildings. Now we're going to be taking that, we're going to be putting that into neighborhoods where, people are cutting lawns and weed whackers and, you got trees around and, that's just, in my opinion, that is a lot of dangerous electricity to have right in these houses.
I see what you're saying, yeah. What is the impact, do you think, going to be on the cost of a house for going from a 200 to a 400 amp service?
Oh, I mean, the electrical install probably at least double.
Yes, easily.
Wow. And so with that said, we've got increased costs of construction, we've got increased costs of utility consumption as well. So I don't know where we're headed here. Anyway, 803-0930, let's go back to the texts. I had a new 200 amp service installed. Why did they require 2 ground rods?
Let's say it could be a town. Most likely it's a town code. Each towns have different codes. If you have, let's say for instance, well water, where you have a plastic line coming in from outside, the code requires you to use 2 ground rods.
Why is that, Barry?
Well, because right now they use the water lines. They use the water line
as a grounding. The copper water line.
Yes.
Got it.
So this makes up for, by not having that copper as an extra grounding method, they put the 2 ground rods in.
Another text, what is something I can do to be efficient with a multi-vent AC unit? It's a Mitsubishi model.
Well, number one, you got to call TRS and get your health and safety inspection.
There you go.
Make sure that it's running right. But yeah, the biggest thing is make sure that it is operating the way that it is supposed to be operating. Everything's clean, everything's functioning right. And then the biggest thing is set it at a temperature and leave it. Everybody thinks they're saving money by, turning temperatures down or turning them up when they're not home. And you're not. I mean, you're losing comfort in your home, and then you're using twice as much electricity to try to get that house back down to where you want to be.
Do these units have filters? They must, right?
They do. The indoor units have filters on them. Every one of them is going to have some sort of filter in the actual indoor unit, and then the outdoor unit's going to have the coil on it that really needs to be cleaned. Gets cottonwood and grass on it.
Mm-hmm. Texter's writing 400 amp service on a structure are for a single structure, 3-6 units, single phase 2.0 copper. I'm not sure if there's a question there, but basically I think the size of a structure would dictate the size of the service, right? But then this is also related to the usage and the demand that is being put upon the appliances that are going to service that house.
Correct. I mean, as you get a bigger structure, you're going to have more things in there. That's going to demand more electricity. So, yes, your service is going to go up more.
When you talk about safety from a 400, the differences in safety between a 200 and 400 amp service, are you talking about the chances of electrocution are higher with a higher amperages?
No, it's you're going to have more amperage there. So, I mean, there's always possibilities for, bad things to happen when you increase stuff.
Got it, yeah. Just tuned in, a texter's writing, can you review what the current and future timeline is for New York State for gas propane elimination in new construction and replacing current units? Well, replacing current units, thankfully, is not on anyone's radar yet. I know there's talk for it perhaps by 2030. And beyond. But as far as new construction, that is on our doorstep. January 1 of 26, any new home built in New York State must be a 100% electric and no gas lines brought into it, no propane, and that's as of January 1, 26. There's also a law pending called the HEAT Act that would eliminate gas lines down new streets, so gas won't even be available in new construction. And in the case you mentioned, they've anticipated that and they put propane down the street.
Yeah, they...
or not down the street, at each house.
Well, yeah, it was an existing neighborhood, and the one part of it did not have natural gas, and so they weren't able to get it there, so they had to go to propane.
Before we get off this subject, and I know we kind of beat this horse about electrification a lot, and it's only because, what I'm about to say, and that is you listeners out there need to become active in terms of stopping this. And if you go to the WN website, you will find on the Hammer Time radio page the contacts for New York State Senate and Assembly. Write to your state senator and state assemblyman and give them your opinion about this. If we don't voice our opinions, we won't be heard. And this is happening, folks. I don't know of anything that's pending to reverse this, which is scary, because that means you guys have to be ready January 1 to build everything that you do, new construction, to be electric.
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly looking at it. I mean, we're going through with sizing and, options and things like that, whatever we can do. But, yeah, if this bill, stays, it's going to be a big change for everybody.
Phil Nanula was on a few weeks ago. Phil, the president of the New York State Builders Association local chapter, and he's also home builder, Essex Homes. And he brought up a very good question. You'll appreciate this. What if I'm in the middle of a subdivision and House A, a building permit issued December 30th, 2025. House B, building permit issued January 1, 2026.
We actually went through that back in 2016 and beginning of 2017, because 2017 they changed building codes. So we actually did. We had a bunch of permits for houses pulled in late 2016, but the houses weren't actually constructed and finished until 2017, just so we could stay under the old building codes.
As far as I know, a texter's writing, what about gas backup generators? As far as I know, as of January 1, I don't know whether you'll be able to put a gas generator in if there's gas coming down the street. So back to Phil's comparison of the two houses next to each other, if gas is coming down the street, are you going to be able to put a gas generator in?
That I'm not sure. I don't know what they're going to allow you to do, but if the gas isn't there, then obviously you're not going to be able to do it. But if it is there, I'm not sure how that's going to fall with with the new state law.
Yeah, we'll look into that and we'll report back on what we find. And of course, stay tuned to this discussion because it's an ongoing and ever-changing picture as to what's exactly going to happen. More so from the reality of implementing it as to the actual design. The design's there. The reality of making it happen is another thing.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And I mean, and keeping everybody comfortable and, again, the way you operate systems and control your houses and, temper your houses now, it's going to be a completely different ballgame when this all switches over.
Before we run out of time, I want to have you speak a little bit about what's happening with AC condensers and with the gases required for that.
Yep, we got the new refrigerant that came out. All of the new units starting January 1 are all of the new refrigerant now, R54, R454B or R32. There's a big industry problem with the R454 and the availability of it. That's another hurdle we're trying to deal with right now.
So the implementation of the rules in place, but the equipment to
the equipment, the supplies, I mean it's
So it's a good example of what I'm talking about for January 1. Are we going to be ready?
Correct. I mean we're gonna have the same hurdles with the all electric that we're having right now with the air conditioning.
So that would bring up the question: are there enough heat pumps available to cover all the housing that's planned for January 1?
Probably not.
Yeah. 803-0930. Give us a call before we run out of time here on the 11 o'clock hour, or write in to our text board, 803-0930. Good morning from Dominic Cortez. This is Hammer Time Radio on WBEN.
Attention contractors, this is Dominic Cortez here to remind you that Herb Company is your trusted source for top quality contractor installed products. From tankless hot water heaters to energy efficient boilers and radiant heating systems, Herb has what you need to stay ahead of the curve. With building code changes coming next year, costs are likely
Well, like I said,
to
the
rise,
one
so
that's sitting on my
now's the
desk
time
right
for
now, we
lock
looked
in
at
savings.
the
Visit herbcompany.com
electric
or call
air
one of our
handler
knowledgeable
requires
sales
100
associates
amps
at
just
825
for,
1400 today.
and that's just the air handler. So now you're going to have the condenser.
How big of a house is it?
Transform every room in your
Not
home
big,
with
standard
Earl
house,
Home
maybe
Consignment.
2,500
You
square
might
foot.
have a
It's not a big house by
so
any
you never
means.
know what you'll find. Get
But the
inspired
problem
by their
is
beautifully staged
the heat
showrooms
pumps
on Hurdle
only go
Avenue,
down
Buffalo,
to,
and at
I
Georgetown
think this
Plaza
one
in
was
Williamsville.
35 degrees.
Filled with
It will
Right,
operate.
right,
So
right.
after 35 degrees,
gotta have a
you're going to go
backup.
to electric heat. So you've got to have a big enough electric heater in there.
It's so ridiculous.
Love it.
Yeah. So I mean, you put this 100 amp air handler in there, you're going to run, wire to power this air handler in a basement.
When it comes to
It's all
remodeling your
ludicrous.
kitchen or bath, the first step
The
is a
potential for
visit
somebody
to
getting
Kitchen
hurt
Bath
and killed
Unlimited
and everything else with all
unlimited
this
options of
is
cabinet
just
styles, colors, and high-quality craftsmanship.
it's crazy.
Have any of the builders, like, has Morano said anything to you about what they're planning to do?
As far as
like being ready?
they're gonna, I mean, we're quoting electric, all electric neighborhoods. I mean, like I said, this one in Rochester we were doing, we started all electric, and then they said, well, wait a minute, the cost of the house is gonna go up so much. What can we do? And then they came back and said, well, how about if we put propane tanks in the backyard? Okay, great, let's go that route. So we're able to keep the standard furnace, standard air conditioner, and everything else. But when they stop the
But
propane,
isn't it true that propane is not as efficient?
no, it's as efficient. I mean,
Is it
you're
more
going to
expensive,
use
though?
more. Yeah, it's more expensive, but I mean, it's going to be cheaper than electric.
You got to have a tank refill.
Yes. Yep.
Just telling, how is this a step in the right direction?
It's not.
Lakeshore
It's not.
Savings
They're putting
Bank
the cart
believes
before
in
the horse
community
again.
banking. With
It's,
exceptional customer service and local
and then, like I
expertise,
said, the whole thing is
Lakeshore
the grid
Savings
just can't
is
do
here to
it.
help you with all your financial needs. From home financing to small business banking, Lakeshore Savings gives you access to local bankers who are dedicated to serving the community. Visit one of Lakeshore Savings Bank's 10 Western New York branches. Call 716-366-4070 or visit lakeshoresavings.com today. Lakeshore Savings Bank. Putting people first since 1891.
Dominic Cortez here. Good insulation increases home comfort and can decrease energy costs. But not all insulation is the same. USA Insulation's premium foam fills every gap, making your home more energy efficient and quiet, all by saving you money. Right now, qualifying homeowners can get up to 50% off the cost covered by New York State. Plus, a federal tax credit saves you another 30%. That's up to 80% off your costs covered. Call 716-431-4500.
USA Insulation.
Or visit USAinsulation.net.
us online at WBEN.com.
10:55 is Hammer Time. We spent the hour with my friends from TRS, Jeff Winarski and Barry Burkhold, talking about electrical consumption, what you can do to reduce yours, and then we got into the discussion, of course, about the electrification of our society as of January 1. A lot of texters are writing in as well, and we've got a caller. Let's squeeze that in. East Aurora is our next stop. Joe, good morning. You're on WBEN with TRS.
Yeah, hey, good morning. Hey, like the show, like the content.
Thank you.
This is, I don't know. I think it's kind of insane with the gas.
Yep, sure is.
And gas and stuff. You know, question for your heating and plumbing guys there. I see online, I see all these different, I call them split units, whether it's a Mitsubishi or some name, Pioneer. I never knew there was so many of them. Is there take the Mitsubishi? Is it the quality of how it's built that they dictate the price? What is the warranty? What's the advantage?
Okay.
They're all the same. You know, it's just like, you know, you go out and buy a Chevy, Ford, Chrysler car. You know, every manufacturer has their own little quirks. Every manufacturer has their own warranties. So, I mean, yes, there are a ton out there, just like there are furnaces and air conditioners. There's all kinds of manufacturers out there. You just have to do your due diligence and make sure what you're purchasing is what you want.
Any of them American-made?
I'm sure there are, to be honest with you, Dominic, but I'm not 100% certain off the top of my head what manufacturers are.
Well, just like furnaces, they're probably sourced for parts from all over the country.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah. You know, there are some plants in the U.S., but, you know, parts do come from other countries.
Yeah. Thanks for your question, Joe.
Yeah. You guys have a good day.
Okay, you
do the
too.
same.
Texter's writing, Dominic, does the law pertain in new builds in Buffalo? For example, on the east side, in general, many of these people who would buy a modest new house in the city are the people who can least afford the high electric bills that will come with an all-electric house. And the answer is absolutely yes. Any new building permit for a single-family home as of January 1 will fall under the requirements of 100% electricity.
That is correct, and you have to remember, it's not just the builders that are putting up entire neighborhoods. I mean, if you're, you know, especially in Buffalo, you know, if you're going to put up a new home, you know, by yourself or have a contractor put up a home for you in a neighborhood, that's still, you know, is covered by these new building requirements and laws.
You know, it'll be fun to see and watch as to how long after January 1, when new homes start coming up that are 100% electric, that we start having problems with the grid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I mean, and, you know, the same thing, you know, they're pushing all the electric vehicles and that, you know, you start adding these car chargers, you know, it's going to affect everything.
I have a wall switch that has power but does not control any fixture. Is there a way to trace its wire in the wall to identify its destination?
Not trace it in the wall, no, but chances are that switch probably turns on a receptacle.
Mm-hmm.
If there was no light inside the room, by code you had to have something to turn on, so the switch would be, I would say, a receptacle.
How would they figure that out?
You just have to go around and plug something in and have somebody turn the switch on to see. It's the simplest way to do it.
Okay, there you go.
You know, and check, make sure you do check both outlets. So when you have outlets and you have one plug
top
stacked,
and bottom.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, because it could be the top one controlled by the switch or the bottom one and the other one not controlled.
A texter's writing, we have a older gas boiler. Would you recommend we replace it before January 1 to avoid the electric one? No, this does not pertain to existing construction. Any renovations or replacements are exempt from this requirement. It's only for new construction as of January 1. A new home has to be 100% electric.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, you're still okay in your existing homes.
Well, keep us in touch on how things are going on your side of the coin when it comes to the electrification and any other updates that you want to bring to us.
We absolutely will.
TRS Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. Jeff Winarski, Barry Burkhold. We learned a lot from you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hour number 2 comes your way after the 11 o'clock news with Zachary Penkew. Open phone lines, anything around the house that needs my attention. Get ready to call in or text in, 803-0930. Hour number 2 is on its way. We're back with more of Hammer Time Radio right after the news.
WBEN Buffalo Odyssey HD3 Niagara Falls.
Hey guys.
Thank you very much, sir.
Seen you, Jeffrey.
Pleasure as always.
Yeah, talk to Matthew. We'll get together.
Good to see you
Yeah,
again.
yeah, he's, I'll talk to him. I don't know if, I would like to see if we get something set up this week, but he's on vacation the following week, so if we don't, I'll have to wait till he gets back from vacation. But yeah, I definitely need to sit down and have a conversation. I think we work something out.
I agree.
All right, good.
Like I said, we just gotta see what we can do.
Yeah, of course.
All right, buddy.
Want to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, stay well.
Take care.
Good seeing you
Thanks,
both.
They do. They are searching with the police department who's providing assistance.
Fire Chief Dennis Jenkerson there. The Rail Engineers Union and New Jersey transit officials will be back at the bargaining table later today after workers walked off the job yesterday striking for better wages. But in the meantime, trains for the country's third biggest transit system are at a standstill. ABC's Marcus Solis.
Transit officials say they were pleased with the way they were able to get commuters moving yesterday with additional bus service. Now, granted, volume is always lighter on Fridays, but they were also pleased that they were able to supplement private bus service for those who were attending the Shakira concert at MetLife Stadium. But Monday would be a much bigger challenge.
Meanwhile, at Newark Airport, the FAA is out with a new plan to alleviate the widespread cancellations and delays there. The agency and the airline say they're now going to limit the number of landings per hour at the airport to 28, down from 40 starting in about 2 weeks. 10 inmates were able to break out of jail near New Orleans yesterday, and 7 of those fugitives are still at large, authorities say. ABC's Maria Villarreal says jail officials didn't notice they were gone until hours after it happened.
Top officials believe they got help from inside someone within the jail system. There were no deputies assigned to the unit where this happened for some reason, and authorities say the technician assigned to keep an eye on surveillance cameras actually walked away when this happened to get food.
Authorities say 4 of the men who are still on the run are charged with second-degree murder. You're listening to ABC News.
It's 11 o'clock, currently mostly cloudy and 64 degrees in Buffalo. Good morning from the WBEN Paul Davis Restoration Newsroom. I'm Zach Penkew.
The WBEN First Alert forecast calls for a gusty thunderstorm and breezy winds today.
Here's what's happening. U.S. Attorney Michael DiGiamico announced Catholic Health System has agreed to pay out $3.2 million to resolve allegations under the False Claims Act. It's alleged that CHS knowingly submitted or caused to be submitted false claims to the Medicare program that were the result of violations of the physical self-referral law, commonly known as the Stark Law. The law bars hospitals from billing Medicare for services referred by doctors that have improper financial ties. Federal officials say Catholic Health System violated that law by paying non-employee physicians above fair market value, then billing Medicare for their referrals. The Buffalo Bandits take Game 1 of the NLL Championship Series, beating the Skajaqua Rush 12-10. The Bandits held firm in the fourth quarter, running out of the clock to steal the win. Kyle Buchanan delivered the final blow, his 4th goal of the night, off of a long assist from Dane Smith.
And they'll throw this one deep. Bounces towards the net. Oh, it's deflected! Off Buchanan's stick and in. The unlikeliest of goals. And the first 2-goal lead of the game from the Bandits comes on an empty netter off the tip of Kyle Buchanan's stick.
The Bandits head to Saskatchewan tomorrow with a shot at winning a 3rd straight NLL championship. Congressman Nick Langworthy announced that Cataraqui County has been awarded $2.3 million by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for Head Start projects. Head Start is based on the premise that all children share certain needs and that children of income-eligible families can benefit from comprehensive developmental program to meet those needs. In a statement, Langworthy said the Head Start program is a tremendous resource to working Cataraqui County families, and this funding will ensure children have the best opportunity to learn and be nurtured. WBEN Arthur Press and Traffic Attorney News Time is 11:04. The WBEN Just Call Jed First Alert forecast is coming up next.
Hear your favorite WBEN programming anytime. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WBEN today.
Helping your inner circle prepare for emergencies can start in many ways. Put together an emergency kit with Wipol. Create a family communication plan with your tita. Remind Bai to keep a backup battery charged. It all starts with a simple step, telling those you care about to be ready for the worst. So start a conversation and plan for emergencies together. Get more tips at ready.gov/start. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Stay tuned right after Hammer Time for Senior Radio Buffalo, hosted by Linda Pellegrino. Senior Radio is dedicated to informing and educating baby boomers and active seniors all over Western New York. Coming up at noon.
The WBEN First Alert forecast calls for a morning shower and an afternoon gusty thunderstorm. Otherwise partly sunny and windy today. Winds reaching 30 to 35 miles an hour, the high 68. After a shower this evening, mostly cloudy and breezy down to 51. A couple of showers early tomorrow, otherwise breezy and cooler with a high of 59. And after some morning clouds, some sunshine on Monday with a high of 58. With the WBEN First Alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Chad Merrill.
Currently in Buffalo, 67 and cloudy. The WBEN Paul Davis Restoration Newsroom is the news feed that never stops. Stay in the know and follow our updated X feed for the latest by following at WBEN.
Leaking roof? Need new windows? Looking to remodel your kitchen or bath? You've come to the right place and the right time. Broadcasting on News Radio 930 WBEN since 1989, this is Hammer Time Radio. Now, your host, your man for home improvements, Dominic Cortez. Brought to you by Lakeshore Savings Bank, putting people first since 1891.
And we're back with hour number 2 of Hammer Time Radio for this Saturday morning. My thanks to my friends from TRS, Jeff and Barry, for coming in to talk about electrical consumption. And we can continue that dialogue, or if you'd like to divert into something else that's important for you. Of course, it's important to me, and the number 803-0930 is the number to call, or text, and we'll get to your problem and come up with a solution. Our Saturday morning coffee clutch continues here on WBEN. Participate in the program right now by giving us a call, 803-0930, or text us on the same call-in number outside Buffalo, 1-800-616-WBEN. Let's go to the island of Grand. And Mark, good morning. We're at your house.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question on the previous topic.
Sure.
With regards to as they build new builds, are they provisioning these builds with gas lines in the event that the whole push towards 100% electric does not work out?
The answer is no.
They're not.
They're not.
So when it doesn't work out, how are they supposed to go back and gut the fish and rerun all gas lines through a new build?
Gee, what a perceptive statement. No one in government is as perceptive as you are. So, don't have a good answer for you, other than that's the stupidity of what we're dealing with.
That's just going to be a ticking time bomb that's going to go off and cause incredible costs.
Exactly right. And, this needs to be brought out, and the only way we can bring it out is by talking about it here, or have you and everyone listening contact their state representatives to voice their opinion about the ludicrousness of this and how we're stuck with it being implemented on January 1.
So I have one other question, Dominic, and I want to apologize if this is inappropriate.
Go ahead.
But I just want to say, I have been and I have had, that's a legitimate question that I just gave you.
Sure.
It's a real concern. But my other question was, on a personal note, I've been trying to get in touch with your organization with regards to ERP software for construction. Can I contact someone there? Or is there someone there that I can talk to? Or
What is that?
I represent Acumatica. It's construction business management software. Cost estimating, job costing, all that kind of stuff.
I see.
You may be using spreadsheets. You may be using NetSuite.
Well, no, we have a estimating software called Clear Estimate. We have our accounting is QuickBooks, and then we have OneNote that we use for storing files. And then we use also another builder app for running the jobs in the field. If you can bring everything together, and of course then we also have Salesforce. So if everything could be brought together, I certainly would be interested in hearing that.
Acumatic can do all that in one product. CRM, job costing, estimating, construction accounting. It can do it all in one.
What kind of learning curve is there?
It's rated the number one the ease of use software and ERP software in the market today.
All right. Well, give me a call, Mark. I certainly would be interested in meeting with you.
All right, I'll leave you a voicemail. Mark Savoy is my name, so if you get it, give me a call back and we can work something.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing that up.
Thanks for the answer to the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, Mark's right. January 1, there's no gas, no backup, no generator, nothing. And if this heat law goes through, there won't be gas coming down the street anymore either. So a lot of people ask me, so, okay, we're dealing with this reality of January 1. What would you do? Well, I'll tell you. If I was building a house right now, it would be geothermal. No question. Even though it's more money, there's definitely incentives, federal incentives. I don't know if there's state incentives on geothermal, but without question, I would not build an electric house with heat pumps because they are not reliable long term, and with temperature fluctuations below 20 degrees, you lose capacity. I would build a house with geothermal heat. Because that is a forever installation, very minimal electrical consumption, and a reliable form of heating. And if you're dealing with that reality, I would strongly consider you looking into geothermal. Other things, too, that you might want to think about, we talk about reliability of solar, but having solar panels on your roof will definitely have a positive impact, especially if you're starting from scratch in a new construction. Putting solar panels on that are integrated right into the system could actually greatly reduce your electric consumption. So think about that if you're building a new house too. Geothermal and solar panels. Now, if we're just talking about finding ways to minimize our consumption, we talked about peak times of day, not running your washer and dryer during those peak times, running them off hours. Also, some other things are, we talk about these things all the time. Efficiencies lost with energy waste, windows, doors, foundation leaks. Having your HVAC system tuned, as Jeffrey had alluded to. Take a look at windows and doors to see if you're having drafts. Both summertime and wintertime, drafts could impact electrical consumption and therefore drive up your utility bills. Weather stripping, sealing gaps, caulking where necessary. Solar films on windows. Now, sometimes we have to be careful about those because they could void your warranty, but reflective coatings on glass could have a great impact on reducing AC loads. And we touched on this as well, the importance of proper insulation. Both in the summer and in the winter, insulation plays an important role. Insulation in the summer reduces the load on your AC. Of course, insulation in the winter reduces your load on your furnace. Both, of course, could help impact your electrical consumption. So simple things like that can go a long way to help your electric bill and make your home more comfortable as a result of them being less drafty. Now, remember, when we talk about adding insulation, it's important that we talk about ventilation. They go hand in hand. Insulation needs ventilation, and if you don't ventilate when you insulate, then you'll entrap moisture, and when you entrap moisture, you will lead to other issues of moisture buildup. You could start having musty smells. You can start to have mildew. You can start to have roof deck rot. So the consequences of poor ventilation are extreme. This also can be seen, folks, with bathroom fans. We see this a lot. Bathroom fans vented into the attic and not to the outdoors can lead to problems with excessive moisture and to roof deck rot. So don't underestimate the importance of venting your bathroom fan to the outdoors and doing it properly. And what I mean by that is the bath fan should be insulated. The bath fan vent line should be insulated. It should be under the insulation and exiting into a soffit or through the building wall if possible. or more efficiently, straight up. Now, if we go straight up and out the roof, then we need a special roof boot to ventilate act as the chimney, but also that line that's going up and through from the bathroom to the roof needs to be insulated as well. Uninsulating a bathroom vent line can cause condensation in that line, which could lead to water dropping back into the fan and burning the fan up. Not to mention the fact that the cold from the attic in the winter would draft down back into the bathroom. So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to a bathroom fan, but the essence and the most important thing about it is that it be vented to the outdoors to reduce any moisture buildup in the attic. I had a friend once who got quite ill from a breathing problem he developed from the mold that was growing on the underside of his roof deck as a result of simply the bathroom fans that were vented into the attic. He had tremendous mold growth on the underside of his roof deck. And when that was eradicated and the bathroom fans were properly vented, guess what? He started to feel better. How do you like that? Simple things like that. We talk about it all the time with Peter Gordon from Indoor Air Professionals, can have an impact on your health. Breathing clean air is essential, obviously, and mold is a big threat in all of our homes. And if we don't eradicate it, it could lead to breathing issues. 803-0930, that's the number for you to call this Saturday morning here on WBEN. Open phone lines until noontime. Open phone lines till Linda Pellegrino and Senior Radio. Pick up the phone or give us a text, 803-0930. This is Hammer Time Radio on WBEN.
Wondering where to shop for home improvements? Well, you've come to the right place. Our sponsors have proudly earned the Hammer Time seal of approval by operating with honesty and integrity. So remember, to buy right the first time, buy from a Hammer Time partner. Hi, it's Dominic Cortez. Whenever someone asks me, who do you call for roof repair or replacement, I say call Ava Roofing and Siding. They install over 1.5 million square feet of shingles and siding annually across Western New York. When you call Ava, you get superior service, including an expert foreman on every job. Get an on-the-spot free written estimate and project drawing for your roof replacement or repair by calling 343-ROOF or go to avaroofing.com. Ava also offers 0% financing. When quality matters, call Ava Roofing. Why is the Gorilla Floor the best resinous floor on the market? Simple. We're the only company that bold enough to guarantee protection against the #1 cause of garage floor failure, moisture. Every Gorilla Floor includes a vapor barrier at no extra cost. No shortcuts when it comes to long-term protection. In Western New York, with our high water table, that barrier is critical. Protect your garage with a Gorilla Floor and say goodbye to peeling and failure. Ask for the Hammer Time discount. Take 10% off your floor, 400 square feet or more, just in time for spring. Hi, it's Dominic Cortez. For top-quality aluminum railings, go with Regal Railings from Lenco Supplies. Made from 100% pure, high-strength aluminum, durable and beautiful. Plus, for a limited time, get free delivery on orders over $500. Order in-store or online at Lenco.supplies. Choose from Picket and Glass Systems or upgrade to their sleek, frameless Crystal Rail system. For easy, affordable building material solutions, attention contractors, this is Dominic Cortez here to remind you that Herb Company is your trusted source for top quality contractor installed products. From tankless hot water heaters to energy efficient boilers and radiant heating systems, Herb has what you need to stay ahead of the curve. With building code changes coming next year, costs are likely to rise. So now's the time to lock in savings. Visit herbcompany.com or call one of our knowledgeable sales associates at 825-1400 today. Plan ahead and save with Herb Company, your partner in excellence. Dominic Cortez here. Good insulation increases home comfort and can decrease energy costs. But not all insulation is the same. USA Insulation's premium foam fills every gap, making your home more energy efficient and quiet, all by saving you money. Right now, qualifying homeowners can get up to 50% off the cost covered by New York State. Plus, a federal tax credit saves you another 30%. That's up to 80% off your costs covered. Call 716-431-4500.
USA Insulation.
Or visit USAinsulation.net.
WBEN 930 AM, as Buffalo as Beef on Weck.
11:20 is Hammer Time. Good morning, it's Dominic Cortez. Pick up the phone and give us a call. Anything around the house. 803-0930 as we travel to Buffalo. And say good morning to Ray. Good morning, Ray. You're next.
Good morning. I'm out walking my rescue dog. One comment is when they put solar panels on an existing roof, it has to be analyzed to make sure to take the weight of the solar panels. Sometimes that's not done.
Yeah, good point. I think that in analyzing structural integrity of a roof is important on an ongoing basis. And yes, you're adding weight load. So in most cases, a properly designed roof will be able to take the weight load, but is definitely something to consider.
True. And you hit right on with that bathroom fan issue. I had a house built by a very large, well-known builder in the area. Letters in the middle of the alphabet. And he's vented the fan right into the attic. I had all sorts of trouble. Uninsulated pipes. It all had to be corrected at my expense. And
Yeah.
very true what you just said.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Well, cheapest prices they do.
Well, yeah, again, you're right. You get what you pay for. You just have to be smart about what you're expecting.
And if I was building a brand new house, I would have a third-party inspector look at everything. If I did that.
Yep.
But ventilation, I only partially ventilated soffits. I'm going to replace my soffits with full ventilation. I'm going to replace my gutters. What type of gutter should I get? What gauge of gutters? That's what I'm interested in. Plus the ventilated soffits.
Yeah, continually ventilating a soffit is a good idea because it affords you maximum ventilation with air baffles that will allow the air to travel above the insulation. No question, that's a smart move. 32 gauge, a 5-inch aluminum gutter is a standard residential aluminum gutter. You could oversize to 6 if you have a high-pitched roof. 6-inch gutter might be a good idea because of the steepness, so it catches the water better. But beyond that, standard gutters are going to do you fine.
So 32 gauge, 5-inch.
Yep.
And what about debris shields? Your thoughts on debris shields? I don't live in an area with a lot of trees, so.
Yeah. So I have a product in my house called Leaf Relief, spelled Leaf, L-E-A-F, Relief, R-E-L-I-E-F. And it snaps into the K-style 5-inch gutter, screws in, so it's permanent install. It's got 2 slots running down about a third of the way from the middle, so not quite in the middle, but a third of the way closer to the roof. The whole theory here is that debris can't get through the 2 slots, but rainwater can. Now, mind you, once a year I do have to get the leaf blower and blow some debris that catches in those little slots, like the helicopters, for example. But other than that, they stay clean. The gutters stay clean, and they've been a great asset because they weren't expensive either.
Gotcha.
All right.
I'm tired of climbing a ladder.
Amen. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
For your callers. Great call.
Yeah, thank you, Ray, for calling in. Let's move to Akron now and say hello to Jim. Good morning, Jim. You're next.
Morning. Yes, I have a heat pump, and I was wondering, is it worth it to go to a geothermal, convert it to a geothermal?
Well,
unit?
So on the efficiency spectrum, no question, a geothermal is the most efficient way to heat and cool a home. The problem, of course, Jim, is the cost. And if you factor, 30-year lifespan, then yeah, it's going to be a productive way to heat and cool the house because of the fact that it's never going to break down. And it's an inert system where the lines in the ground, are there permanently. So long term, yes. Short term, the cost is going to be the factor.
The second thing is, I have a pond. Is it easier to go to the pond for the geothermal instead of burying the lines?
The temperature of the ground is what is the essence of how well geothermal will work. So the depth and the number of footage of line is all a factor as to what we're trying to achieve in terms of energy creation. So I would consult with a contractor, a geothermal contractor, for the answer to that question.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good question. Let's move to Amherst now and chat with Julie. Good morning, Julie. You're next.
Hi, good morning. I have the main question I called in for, and then I thought of something else while I was on hold. The main question is, I just don't understand how solar panels on a roof. I live in an older section of Amherst. The way the house is built, I know it's built sturdily for the way it's built.
Right.
We had a grand piano that kind of rippled the floor a little bit. And I'm worried about the structure underneath. It's okay. But how on earth are solar panels on a roof of an older home like ours in an area where we do get the occasional 7 or 8 foot snow dump?
Right.
How, and that alone on the roof, how are solar panels on the roof?
So you basically answered the question yourself. Our roofs are designed for extreme load, and yes, we did see failure when we had the 7-foot snowfall. Absolutely, because that was beyond the maximum design load capacity. And we also saw failure when homes were not properly built, where they weren't designed or weren't built to the maximum capacity. So with that said, there's room in the spectrum for roofs to take solar panels based on how they're initially designed.
Okay. And then I still see snow on the solar panels. Do they automatically melt stuff, or
well,
now we have to shovel off our roof occasionally?
Yeah, the idea there is that you might lose some absorption when they're covered with snow, but eventually, the snow will fall off or the snow will melt.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. That said, then the other question I have is, I heard that we can be grandfathered in if we have a gas furnace, but I'm wondering about what if we replace a room, like we have an old Florida room, and I'd love to have a gas and wood-burning fireplace in it, just for when the power goes out, which happens. I mean, we were zero for the October 12th storm.
No worry at all for an existing home and an existing structure. No worry at all on replacing an existing furnace, adding on to an existing home. No restrictions or requirement to go to 100% electric in that setting. The only requirement that takes effect January 1 is for a single-family new home. It has to be 100% electric.
Okay, so we can just add on to existing gas lines even after that January
That's correct.
deadline for what we have. That's a bit of a relief.
Yes.
And I also see existing home prices skyrocketing.
Well, not only are existing homes going to skyrocket, a new house is going to probably be put out of the reach of most.
Yeah, I mean, existing ones are almost out of the reach of young people. So.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, dear. Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
Moving along now to Buffalo. Bill, you're next on WBEN.
Yes, I have a house that had formaldehyde put in during the 70s. Is there any way of removing it?
Eventually, formaldehyde loses its potency and its threat. So I would suggest that you have the air monitored in your home to see if there's still a threat. There's a chance that after all this time, there is no longer a threat.
How do you get an air monitor?
I would call the Erie County Health Department and see if they can put you in touch with somebody who specializes in that.
Okay, but as far as removing it, you got any ideas?
Well, removing it would mean gutting the house. I don't know whether I'd take you down that road unless there was a medical threat.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, good luck with that, Bill. Yeah, the Erie County Health Department can give you some direction and provide you some resources on how to deal with that. Great questions there. Pick up the phone or give us a text, 803-0930. I read in the law that if you move within the same gas service company, they have to give you gas. So if you build a new house within the same company territory, I believe they have to give you gas. I believe you are wrong. Any building permit issued after January 1 has to be 100% electric. So that is nothing that I've heard. I have a Mitsubishi mini split, and it's the only heat I have in my upper floor. was built in 75, never has gas to it, and the unit still heats fine. Yeah, they work. They work fine. It's just that there's a temperature sensitivity. Once we get super cold, they're not as powerful. So, hey, it's the bottom of the hour. Time for Zachary. We got a little bit more time here before we have to take our news break. Let's take in another question. Let's see here. The opening of a full-size window when you shower effective enough to ventilate the bathroom? If you open the window, then yes, any window is adequate. The idea behind a fan, of course, is you don't have to open the window, and in the wintertime, that's certainly an advantage. But yes, opening the window will do the job of ventilating the bathroom. Bottom of the hour, top of the news.
ABC News, I'm Mike DeBusky. At least 23 people are dead after a series of severe storms, including more than 24 tornadoes, tore across the eastern half of the country, bringing power outages to hundreds of thousands of people. Recovery efforts are now underway in places like St. Louis.
It's going to be a very exhausting and extensive search pattern.
City Fire Commissioner Dennis Jenkerson. Negotiations resume this afternoon between New Jersey Transit and the Rail Engineers Union as a strike now stretches into its second day. ABC's Marcus Solis.
So close, but yet so far for those commuters who are facing a second straight day without rail service as the strike continues. But the good news is that both sides are indeed talking.
Engineers have been pushing for increased wages. NJ Transit says what they're asking for isn't economically viable. The search is on in Louisiana after a prison break early yesterday morning. 7 people still at large. This is ABC News.
It's 11:30. Good morning from the WBEN Paul Davis Restoration Newsroom. I'm Zach Penneque. Here's what's happening. Catholic Health System has agreed to pay out $3.2 million to resolve allegations under the False Claims Act. It's alleged that CHS knowingly submitted or caused to be submitted false claims to the Medicare program that were the results of violations of the Stark Law. The Buffalo Maritime Center is celebrating the beginning of the 2025 season at Canalside today with the much-anticipated arrival and inauguration of the 1812 USS Trip. The event goes from 2 until 3:30 at the BMC. The Buffalo Bandits took Game 1 of the NLL Championship Series with a 12-10 win. They now head to Saskatchewan for Game 2 tomorrow with the hopes of securing a third straight championship title. Checking the WBEN Just Called Jet First Alert forecast for today, partly sunny and windy with a morning shower and gusty afternoon thunderstorm, high of 68. The gust could reach anywhere between 30 to 35 miles per hour this afternoon. Tonight, a brief evening shower or two, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy, low of 51. Tomorrow, a couple of showers in the morning, otherwise breezy and cooler with low clouds, high 59. And taking a peek at Monday, low clouds followed by some sun, high 58. Currently in Buffalo, cloudy and 66 degrees. The WBEN Paul Davis Restoration Newsroom is the news feed that never stops. Stay in the know and follow our updated X feed for the latest by following at WBEN.
Miss a show, segment, or interview? Download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Favorite WBEN and listen live to any of our content on demand, wherever you are. This is Hammer Time Radio. Brought to you by Lakeshore Savings Bank, putting people first since 1891.
Imagine a dust-free environment in your home or workplace. Sounds too good to be true. Well, it is. But there's a catch. Indoor Air Professionals will tell you it's impossible because we shed 50 million skin cells daily. But their customers swear by the results. Indoor Air Professionals can improve dust, allergies, asthma, and even your heating and cooling system. They've even found lost money and jewelry. So call Peter at 683-3000 extension 303 for amazing deals.
For every breath you take.
Buffalo weather can't make up its mind. Cold one day, warm the next. Hey, it's Dominic Cortez. Make sure your home stays comfortable in any season with a $99 health and safety checkup from TRS Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an upgrade? TRS can recommend a high-efficiency ream system to keep you warm now and cool when temperatures rise. With financing options to fit your budget. Visit TRSHeatingandAirConditioning.com for details. TRS Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical Excellence. Powering tomorrow. Comforting today. Hi, it's Dominic Cortez. Whenever someone asks me, who do you call for roof repair or replacement, I say call Ava Roofing and Siding. They install over 1.5 million square feet of shingles and siding annually across western New York. When you call Ava, you get superior service, including an expert foreman on every job. Get an on-the-spot free written estimate and project drawing for your roof replacement or repair by calling 343-ROOF or go to avaroofing.com. Ava also offers 0% financing. When quality matters, call Ava Roofing.
News Radio 930 AM WBEN.
Why is the Gorilla Floor the best resinous floor on the market? Simple. We're the only company that bold enough to guarantee protection against the number one cause of garage floor failure, moisture. Every Gorilla Floor includes a vapor barrier at no extra cost. No shortcuts when it comes to long-term protection. In Western New York, with our high water table, that barrier is critical. Protect your garage with a Gorilla Floor and say goodbye to peeling and failure. Ask for the Hammer Time discount. Take 10% off your floor, 400 square feet or more, just in time for spring. This is Dominic Cortez. Looking for easy, affordable exterior upgrade? Lenko Supplies has Tando Stack Stone and Beach House Shake Siding. Durable, modern, and easy to install. Get the pieces you need, channel, corners, and panels in a variety of in-stock colors. Tando's composite siding delivers realistic textures and long-lasting color for residential or commercial exteriors. Plus, free delivery on orders of over $500. Visit Lenko's 3 locations or shop online at lenko.supplies.
WBEN 930 AM, as Buffalo as wings.
$11:37 is Hammer Time. Hey, it's Dominic, and how are you? 803-0930. Pick up the phone and give us a call or text us, same as our call-in number, 803-0930. The next class, Come Home to Cortez cooking class, is the 19th. That's Monday. Sicilian Sunday is the theme. Pasta spaghettata, chicken cutlets, fagiolini, which are garlic string beans, blood orange, and fennel salad. If those sound good to you, well, this class is for you. Sicilian Sunday, May 19th, this coming Monday. June 2nd, we are traveling to Catania. We'll be making arancini, pasta alla norma, and cannoli. That's the Catania class, June the 2nd. I mentioned the pizza workshops. There's 2 of them, July 7th and July 21st. We'll be conducting those classes outside, as well as the June 16th class. That's also outside. Estate Simple, which is simple summer, and that class has grilled handmade sausage with peppers, grilled vegetables with goat cheese, frilled peaches and pineapples with mascarpone cream. That is the June 16th class. So plenty of great choices on the menu, if you will, of classes coming up. And that's the Come Home to Cortez Cooking School with our chef, Jerry Clemente, at our place at 9074 Main Street in Clarence. Love to have you come out and see us. Everything we do around the house is on display at our Come Home to Cortez showroom, including, of course, our cooking school. I mentioned that the Junior League of Buffalo Show House ends this weekend. The George Urban Mansion at 280 Pine Ridge Road. The show ends tomorrow. Today it goes till 4, and Sunday 10 till 4, and then it's a wrap, and everything gets taken out of that great house, the George Urban Mansion at 280 Pine Ridge. Parking is free at Villa Maria, just a short block walk from the parking lot to the building, the house, so take advantage of that. 803-0930. A texter wrote in about what I said about the bathroom fan, and he lives in a condo, and get ready for this, folks. The condo does not allow the first floor condos to ventilate their bathrooms because it would mean having to go through the brick. The second floor units can ventilate but through the attic, but the first floor are precluded. Isn't that something? So there's a real disadvantage to the people living on the first floor of that condo. I guess I would say to them, the first floor people, make sure you open your windows to get that moisture ventilate it out. And I would do it year round, in that you want to get that moisture out of the bathroom. Another texture's writing, why can't solar panels be separate from a roof and be put on the ground? Absolutely. If there's enough room and you have enough property, you see what's called solar farms, which is something that could take up a lot of land. There is the whole movement to using roofs, flat roofs, as solar farms. And that's a great use of a flat roof. And that could be something that could actually be shared beyond the building owner. It could actually develop a small little utility business, if you will, with using a flat roof for a solar farm. 803-0930 to Cheektowaga and Emily, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic. I have a quick question. You did a show a while ago about a concrete company that raises cracked concrete,
Yes.
fills it in, and can replace it or recover it.
Yeah, they just level. They help level. It's A1 concrete leveling. They will come in and drill holes and inject material that would allow them to, with pressure, lift a sagged section of concrete. It's great for eliminating tripping hazards or tipping concrete in the right direction for better drainage.
Okay. And it's A1?
Concrete leveling.
Okay. And do you have a phone number for them?
I don't. You can look them up. Just Google them. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Dominic.
Okay, dear. Thanks for the call. My pleasure. Emily's line now available, 803-0930. Could you please discuss the pros and cons versus tile versus slab walls in a bathtub or shower? Are there any things I should be especially concerned about? I don't want to move the controls to the wall opposite the shower head. Thank you. B in Tonawanda. Yeah, pros and cons. Well, there's quite a list here of pros and cons. I guess the biggest pro for a tile look is simply the look. We call it, the spa look, if you will. Those that are looking for a certain visual appeal are going to probably want a tile look in their shower. Conversely, if you are comfortable or you're okay with a more, I guess we'll call it utilitarian look, well, then slabs are going to give you that. And the benefit, of course, we're going to trade look for function, because the benefit side is now that we have less maintenance with a slab material than we would with tile. And there's quite a growing list of materials that we have available now that fall in the category of slab materials that are not tile. For example, we have on display at our building on Main Street 2 products that fall into this category. One is called Wet Wall, and it's actually a material made by Wilson Art, which is a company that makes countertops. Wilson Art makes Wet Wall, and it is a slab material. The benefit of it is, again, full slab, easy to wipe down, fully warranted. I think it's lifetime warranted. It doesn't have any tile pattern built into it. So just so you be aware of that. But if you want a tile pattern, well, guess what? We have a product for that too, and that's called FIBO, F-I-B-O. This is actually made in Europe, and believe it or not, folks, it is made out of wood. And it's a rot-proof wood teak, and it's a plywood. When you look at the edge of it, it looks like plywood, but it's all rot-resistant, rot-proof wood. It's been actually tested underwater for years. Holds up remarkably well. That product does have tile patterns available in it. This is also a great benefit for a shortcut for installing tile backsplash, because this can be cut and used in that scenario as well for a tile backsplash at a kitchen. So yeah, there are alternatives, but it's going to be the look versus the function. Now I guess I can confuse matters by saying the FIBO, in that it's a tile pattern material, could give you a spa look. How do you like that? In not installing tile, but get a tile look with the FIBO material and save a lot of money and not have to worry about grout repair and grout maintenance. So there you go. Maybe we broke the code for the best kind of shower material is the FIBO product. Let's see here. Lots of texters are writing in, and let's see. Thanks for mentioning my text, but in the reverse, it's okay. Okay, the lower units go through the brick, the upstairs can go through the roof. Yeah, that's what I thought I said. But in the soffit only, I'm doing just what you said, opening the window, even in the winter. Good. Glad to hear that. Dominic, we live out of state now, and I always love the show house. Is there anywhere I can see photos of the show house? The Buffalo News did a photo spread. So you can probably Google it through the Buffalo News in their archives, and you might be able to find photos there. Someone texted in the A1 Concrete Leveling phone number. It's 716-341-4550, 341-4550. There you go. Shallow well pump recovery in Gowanda from a water system regeneration, water in and out, GPM, rain soft system. Any dealers serving closer than Rochester? Not sure how to help you with that. If anyone knows anything about rain soft systems in the Gowanda area, maybe they can share that with us here as well. Text board is open. Phone lines are open. 803-0930. Yeah, that whole issue with the condo not being able to ventilate the bathroom fans, that's kind of, mistake made on the drawing board. No fans in the bathroom on the first floor for sure because of the construction. They won't let them go through the brick. I think they're being short-sighted with that because it can be done. They could be ventilated through the brick. Maybe they don't want to see those vent covers, those vent hoods visually on the outside of the structure. But the consequence of having more potential for mildew and mold, I think, would be an interesting fact that should be weighed against the look of a vent cover on the outside of a building. And cutting through the brick, a little cumbersome. But I can't undervalue, folks, the importance of ventilating your bathrooms. Probably the number one place we see mildew in homes is bathrooms, and it's because they trap the moisture. And once it starts growing, you're a victim to it, and it's going to be something that you'll be very hard to get rid of. 803-0930. It's Hammer Time Radio on WBEN.
My family-run business believes in supporting other family-run businesses like Buffalo Plumbing Showroom. With their long tradition of excellence, they offer top-quality plumbing and design solutions. From water-sense fixtures to luxurious steam rooms and the latest Kohler innovations, you can trust their expertise to deliver high-quality materials at great prices. Call one of their sales associates at 826-1400 and schedule a visit to the Kohler Registered Showroom located at 600 Bailey Avenue today.
Hi, it's Susan Rose for Kitchen and Bath Unlimited. Dreaming of a new kitchen or luxurious bath? Now's the time to visit Kitchen and Bath Unlimited and check out their Kemper cabinets. Right now, get a free plywood upgrade up to a $2,500 value on high-quality all-wood custom cabinetry. Their expert designers will help you create the perfect space to match your style and budget. Visit kitchenandbathunlimited.net today to schedule your consultation and take advantage of this incredible offer from Kitchen and Bath Unlimited.
Lakeshore Savings Bank believes in community banking with exceptional customer service and local expertise.
G&G and Hurdle Home Consignment and the Curtain budget blinds, they all came on as sponsors.
Who are dedicated to serving the community. Visit one of Lakeshore Savings Bank's 10 Western New York branches. Call 716-366-4070 or visit lakeshoresavings.com today. Lakeshore Savings Bank. Putting people first since 1891.
Imagine a dust-free environment in your home or workplace. Sounds too good to be true. Well, it is. But there's a catch. Indoor Air Professionals will tell you it's impossible because we shed 50 million skin cells daily. But their customers swear by the results. Indoor Air Professionals can improve dust, allergies, asthma, and even your heating and cooling system. They've even found lost money and joy.
When do we need to get out?
Peter at 683-3000 extension 303 for amazing deals.
Buffalo weather can't make up its mind. Cold one day, warm the next. Hey, it's Dominic Cortez. Make sure your home stays comfortable in any season with a $99 health and safety checkup from TRS Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an upgrade? TRS can recommend a high-efficiency ream system to keep you warm now and cool when temperatures rise. With financing options to fit your budget. Visit TRSHeatingandAirConditioning.com for details. TRS Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical Excellence. Powering tomorrow, comforting today.
Stay tuned right after Hammer Time for Senior Radio Buffalo, hosted by Linda Pellegrino. Senior Radio is dedicated to informing and educating baby boomers and active seniors all over Western New York. Coming up at noon.
11:50 is Hammer Time. 11:50 is Hammer Time. Good morning. It's Dominic Cortez. 803-0930. Pick up the phone if I can help you around the house in our last few minutes. Or text us, and this same as our call-in number, 803-0930. A texter's writing, is it safe to vent a bathroom fan into a soffit? The answer is yes. There is one but, and that is we don't want to induce air back in to an attic from a bathroom fan vent. And that could happen. I've seen it happen. Where the soffit being vented will draw the moist air back in, because that is what the soffit vents do. They induce air. So be mindful of that. As to the placement of that vent not being proximate to a soffit induction vent. It is okay to vent to a soffit, but just make sure it doesn't get inducted back in to the attic because of the proximity to an induction soffit vent. 803-0930. Second call on the island of Grand today. Leo, good morning. We're at your house.
I have a question about mildew and moisture you're talking about in the house. Is there a gauge or an instrument that you can check without tearing the house apart?
Yeah, well, moisture detection, humidity detection would be the key. And, you want to keep the living space in your house under 50% relative humidity. I like to keep our house closer to 40. I have the April Air dehumidifier in the basement running. I've got that set at 40. If you go too dry, then in the wintertime you'll have static electricity. Right. So it's kind of a delicate balance. If you have any mildew in your bathroom or high moisture level, if you have high condensation, let's say, on your glass in the wintertime, that's a sure sign that you have too much humidity.
Okay. That's what my concern was, is room by room, and certainly the bathroom being the worst room, as you indicate.
Yeah, exactly. And if you see any mildew at all in your bathroom, then that's an indication for sure that at least in the bathroom, either we have improper ventilation or moisture entrapment to the extent that the mildew has started to grow.
Sure. Well, thanks. That's all I needed.
Okay, great. Good question. Thanks for that. Yep. Let's see here. Good morning. You may have already addressed this, but in the risk of redundancy, what is the replacement for a whole house natural gas generator and a new bill when the grid goes out during a storm or otherwise caused electrical power outage? As I have said, and this is probably the sorest point of this electrification discussion, is there's no plan for backup. So when a house gets built gets built after January 1, it has to be 100% electric. Now, there may be the provision where gas coming down the street would allow you to tap into it, but the house has to be electric. I don't know whether you'll be able to retrofit later into a gas generator, but as I said, in the proposal stage is the possibility that gas will no longer be mandated to come down the street. So imagine in that scenario, an electric house, no gas coming down the street, and no way to have a backup to the failure of the grid if the grid should go down. And the likelihood of the grid going down, folks, is going to go up as consumption increases. And this is because of the reliance on the grid is something that is faltering already. And you see it happen in weather calamities, right? When we have a storm, it could be a windstorm, it could be a thunderstorm, it could be a blizzard. Usually anything associated with wind will cause the grid to fail. In fact, when the blizzard occurred, the generating stations were impacted with snow, and they failed for that reason. So we're putting our eggs in a basket that has no bottom. And this is the concern I have more than anything, is what's going to happen when the power goes out and there's no backup. I don't know. And it's got me worried. And nobody has given me an answer to that question. So there you go. What I say whenever this comes up is write, folks. Write to your state representatives, your state assemblyman, your state senator, and make sure they hear your opinion about this matter. This point that I just made about no backup generators is the biggest point of this whole controversy. Because what are we going to do to back up if we have no electricity? And the likelihood, as I said, is very high that this is going to be an ongoing and bigger issue, just like we mentioned when our TRS friends were in. The reality of surge is going to become a bigger deal with more reliance on the grid. So surge protectors, vital that we have them in our homes. Retrofit your home with a surge protector. It's easy to do. You heard Barry speak about that. Relatively inexpensive step that could save you thousands of dollars in repairs or replacing a burnt out appliance from a surge. So definitely take my advice on getting a surge protector. As far as a generator goes, you can put one in if you have an existing home, no questions. But a new home, as of January 1, you are out of luck. Anyway, great questions today, great discussion. And I know that we get stuck on this electrification issue, and it's only because it's so important that we make sure we get the word out to all of you that you still can do something about it, but it means taking the time to write to your state representatives. And you can get to them through our WBEN homepage, find the Hammer Time page there, and take the time to write to them and give them your opinion on this matter. Especially if it's not so much for stopping the electrification, because I don't know whether we can do anything more about that. But there is still the chance to stop the HEAT Act from coming to fruition. The HEAT Act is the law that's being proposed that would not require infrastructure to include natural gas. That is being proposed, and right now that's not passed yet. So I guess the question I have is, if a street's being developed right now and the HEAT Act is not yet imposed or not implemented, the gas will still go down that street. What happens if there's gas coming down your street as of January 1, when the house built on that street has to be electric? Can we tap into that gas line for a generator? I don't know the answer to that. So if everything is what I have read, the answer is no, you won't be able to put in a generator. But the fact that the gas line exists brings up the question, right? Could it be possible that we could still tap into that for a backup generator? I don't know. You heard Jeffrey speak about propane. Propane. It's funny. There's a new home being built with a propane tank where gas line was available. How does that make any sense? Well, they did that to get ready for the gas ban, but I don't understand that because propane is not as reliable. It's more expensive. You have to fill the tanks, for God's sakes. We so appreciate natural gas, don't we? For what it does for us. Powers our homes, comes flowing to our house without any issues. Is very reliable. It doesn't go out in the power when the power goes out. So, yeah, okay. Get off the soapbox, Dominic. Okay, I will. Again, thank you for being part of the show. Again, don't forget the show house, the Decorator Show House. It ends tomorrow. Your last chance, 10 to 4 today and 10 to 4 tomorrow. Again, the address is 280 Pine Ridge Road in Cheektowaga. It's right between Dote and Genesee. Parking at Villa Maria. And you can buy your tickets online. In fact, they encourage you to do that by going to the Junior League, buffalo.jl.org, to buy your tickets, and do that. Another source for the tickets, buffaloticketbud.com, jlbuffalo.ticketbud.com. Okay, well, there you go. Got everything in, Jerry. Great job as usual. Thank you to Jerry Craig. Thank you to Zachary Penkew. Thank you to my guests from TRS, Jeff and Barry. And thank you to you for being part of our wonderful audience. We'll look forward to seeing you next Saturday, same time, same place, and always remember, life may be hard by the yard, but by the inch, it's a cinch.
WBEN
Yeah.